welcome to the Hub for Show, where you can get ideas to grow your eco-conscious business. And today I'm joined by Sophie Segal from Co-Create Impact, and we're talking about championing sustainability in the workplace through play. So welcome, Sophie. Great to have you on the show.
Karen, lovely to be here.
I know you're so excited and bubbly, so it's really got off to a good start. And I know you've had a walk in the forest as well, so you're raring to go.
Exactly.
So just a little bit about Sophie. In her latest venture, Sophie wears many hats, but her latest venture, Sophie has been using the transformative power of play to bring life to organizations' customer focus and try and engage employees in sustainability and also the circular economy. So do you find that there are common hurdles that companies are challenged by, and how do you overcome those?
Yeah, I think, well, there's one that I really see at the moment is actually looking at balancing the sort of the short-term needs, you know, that we're having challenges with at the moment, as well as that long-term vision, especially when you talk about, you know, eco-conscious businesses and so on. So we need to like bring the customers on board and all the people that we've got. So driving engagement, but also looking at those new business models that we've got. So it's really that balancing aspect and the engagement. And I think something that we really see is that often people, you know, they really want to think outside the box. You know, they're like, actually, I'm having a challenge, or I need to be more sustainable and so on, but I need to think outside the box. But what does that mean? And that's really, you know, what we've seen is that the challenge is that we're being asked to think outside the box, but we're being told what it means. And that's where, you know, in what we do, we love to actually use play and creative thinking, because we think it really helps like driving that engagement and sparking new ideas, ultimately.
Yeah.
What we need in the current world that we live in. And I think just to tell you a little bit more about play, because that's the part I really like. You know, I've got young kids as well, and I can see how much they actually learn through play. But when we grow up, we're actually being told, you know, that this is not serious enough for the workplace. We need to sort of forget about it. And I think really that's sort of a mistake. I will say it, because through play, what we do is that we really explore, we can experiment. You know, this is a place where there is no risk, basically, because I can do something, see how it interacts and work out. And if it doesn't, that's fine, I can come back. So I think it's an amazing way to really bring the people together, look at experiencing the world through different lenses, basically. And there is a quote, one of my favorite quotes from Paul Lindley, the founder of Ella's Kitchen. He wrote a book called Little Wins, The Huge Power of Thinking Like a Toddler. And in that book, it really talks about growing down to be a toddler and to look back at the skills that they've got that we knew naturally how to use and sort of bring that back in the workplace. So that's really the sort of the work that we do. And I think there is something really interesting in shifting those mindsets and also developing business skills that are important to people, you know, communication, collaboration, creativity. That's something that we all need to get the people who want to be engaged and sort of act, if I can say.
Yeah, fantastic. And I suppose it's also curiosity. I think you lose that a little bit, isn't it? And being very curious about something and wanting to learn through play, I think is a great way of doing it. So I know you work sort of in teams of big businesses as well. If in small businesses, do you find that they're affected similarly? And if so, you know, like a small business owner like myself, or maybe a small team, you know, what can they do to make change?
Yeah, I totally. I think, you know, it's not like a hurdle, it's just for some type of companies. I think all of us, we really need that today. And actually, when I look at the smaller businesses and the SME, I almost think that this is almost a chance that we've got. You know, when you look at small businesses, we've got that creativity, we've got that passion, we've got that drive, we've got almost like a faster speed of execution in that respect. And I think that's something that the bigger companies don't have and that we've got as small businesses. So when we look at creativity and when we talk about engagement, it's not just engagement about the people that work with us, but it's also engaging, you know, the customers and people that we've got around us so that they are bought into what we're trying to do ultimately and so on. So I think around engagement, there is a lot through that and having the creative thinking to look at different ways to connect with our customers and using maybe storytelling as well. I love that one. It's story behind like a business and so on, but really using that And another aspect that I think small businesses have that the others don't have is that ability to connect from an emotional perspective.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been told and selling on benefits and features and things like that, but ultimately, and especially now, I think people want to connect. They don't want to, listen to their head. They want to connect to their heart, and that's really what's going to create that relationship, I guess, with brand. And I think as small businesses, that's a chance that we've got really to make that happen. There's also, because I know talking about eco-conscious business owners here in the show as well. And there's a brilliant study that was done by Brandbill recently that looked at change behaviors around consumption. And there are a few things here that are really interesting, is that the fact that people are starting wanting to make changes in their lifestyle, and they're starting doing it as well. And the part that really, really excites me is that I think there's over 80% basically of the consumers that trust more the smaller brands basically to help them to become more eco-conscious and so on than bigger brands. And I think that's a massive, massive opportunity for us. So.
That is amazing. And it's just finding ways to communicate that through your social media and the way you connect with people, definitely.
Yes, yeah.
And I know as well, a big thing that you do, one of your other hats, is working with the Circular Economy Club in Reading. How do we find out more? What is that about? How can people join in from anywhere?
So the circular economy is like is one of those concepts that when I came across it, I was like, oh, I fell in love with it. Because I genuinely think that it can help so many organizations and businesses of all types to actually become more sustainable. Because it's really rethinking the entire business model, but we don't have to do everything. We can just look at different aspects. And I think there is something for everyone. So when I sort of fell in love with that, I was like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And that's where I decided with someone else, Erica, actually, to lead a chapter in Reading. And it's a voluntary piece of work that we do. But the idea was really to use, rethinking business model and all the design thinking and innovation, basically, as drivers to look at rethinking waste, basically, looking at our product design and what we do and the ownership aspect and all of that. And what we wanted to do is bringing the community together around that. Mm-hmm. And we started actually before lockdown to have face-to-face events that were working really well with like the governments and the businesses, the people, the communities and so on. And then we had to rethink that, obviously. And now we've got a series of events that is online. So we run bi-weekly short conversation, a little bit like today, a bit longer, but like really nice and warm around that. And we bring like companies across the UK, but also local to Reading. And we talked about all the different aspects of the circular economy and how they brought that to life, basically, and what's their story really behind. So the idea is really to amplify all of that. And because we're now online, anyone can join. And we've had people literally even from other countries, the US and so on, joining us. So yeah, can come and join. It's really about sparking ideas to rethink basically the way we do business.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that. Definitely. Well, I will share the links with that in the post with everyone as well, because I want to join in. I think you said it's sort of 20 minutes, maximum half an hour every 2 weeks, Thursday lunchtime. So is it lunchtime? It's about lunchtime, is it?
11 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sort of the morning coffee break. We realize that people just tend to need to have a break at that time, as you know. As we're
yeah, exactly. Like this. Yeah. Oh, that sounds so interesting. I love the whole circular economy. And I used to follow Ellen MacArthur, who I think was probably one of the founders of kind of setting that movement up, isn't it? I think there's so much to learn in different business models as well. So thank you for that. I look forward to joining you guys.
Thank you.
And finally, what is your top eco business tip?
Yeah. So I had to think about that one, but I really think, for me, it will be like go where you've got a passion or something that you love. There's so many different aspects that we can change in our business practices or in our life as well. And often we feel like guilty and people say, oh, you shouldn't do that. So you need to change it. But if you think you need to change it, you're not really going to want to make the change happen. But if you go and start where your passion is, one, you're going to want to get started. Two, you're not going to want to stop when you like hit a hurdle or anything like that, because we all do basically. And 3, you're really going to want to talk about it. And by talking about it, that's when you start inspiring others, and when you start having, I call that the ripple effect, basically, and telling more people. And all of the sudden, that sort of message really drifts through and goes through everyone. And that also, because then you build on your little wins. And based on that, then you start creating momentum, and you're going to want to do more. So yeah, for me, it's really that. Go where your heart is.
Fantastic. I love that tip. Oh, well, thank you so much. And I just want to say, you can find Sophie, because she wears so many hats, the best way to contact her is on LinkedIn, Sophie Segal. So I'll share the links of that as well. But thank you so much for joining us, Sophie. Really great to have you on the show.
Thank you. It was really lovely to you.
Yeah, cool. And to our viewers, if you're watching now, or if you're watching the replay, please keep your questions coming. Both me and Sophie will be on there to answer any queries that you've got and share some more links. So until next week, same time, 11 on Tuesday. See you then. Bye.